Why women are so adamant about men doing housework. This is a really interesting phenomenon that I didn't really know about until I got into a few relationships and until I started talking with women who were a little bit older. I know a lot of our focus in the red pill manosphere is women who are single and, not married, not in a long-term relationship. We don't really focus a whole lot, at least on the ins and outs of the inner workings and the day-to-day life of people who are in a long-term relationship. But when I got into some long-term relationships in my past, and when I started speaking with women who were married for a while and things like that, I started to hear these little things such as, I just want a man who is clean around the house. I just want a man who does dishes and does laundry. I just want a man who can help me with my life. And it was really interesting to hear that, because I never really understood that women really care about that kind of stuff a lot. And the reason why I even say it from that angle is because when I think about housework and laundry, I'm like, yeah, that's a given. Like, everybody should do that. Like, who doesn't clean their house? Who doesn't vacuum? Who doesn't wash their sheets? Who doesn't do laundry? Who doesn't wash their dishes? Like, we all should do that. It's like, to me, in my mind, like, that's just a given, right? But apparently to women, it's like a really important thing, because maybe they've been with guys who didn't do that. I don't know. But even then, it's like, well, then why don't you just do the laundry? You know what I mean? Like, why don't you just do the dishes? But I realized that after talking with them for a long time at length, I realized that, in different ones, I realized that there's a psychological thing there. And it's because I don't know if, okay, I'll just say this. In my opinion, I think feminism has, a lot of women grow up hearing feminist propaganda. A lot of women grow up listening to feminism. And what they hear is, at the core complaint of feminism, women think that being a housewife is akin to being a slave, okay? So when they think, oh, I got to do the dishes, I got to clean, I got to wash, and things like that, in their mind, they associate that with misogyny. Right, because like historically, man worked and women would do the housework, and because feminism said that was slavery, it became a psychological hang-up for these women. So housework is like, a psychological hang-up. It's a trigger word. It's a trigger idea. So if the man doesn't do housework and she has to do the housework, in her mind, she's associating that with slavery. And this was something that I just never because in my mind, it's like, well, you just do the dishes. Like, it's easy. It takes you 5 minutes. You just do the laundry. It's easy. It takes you 5 minutes. You just vacuum. It's easy. It takes you 5 minutes. But in their mind, they're associating that with slavery. On the one hand. On the other hand, there is something within women that views men as utility. Meaning, if I get into, there's something very pragmatic and practical about women know how much money a man makes. They want to know how it's going to work in the relationship. They want to know how the bills are going to get paid. They want to know how the relationship is going to function financially. They're all about that. And this is part of female nature. This is why women are called gold diggers. This is why women are hypergamous. This is why, women are seeking high value men, because they want something to work. And in a sense, like, I get it. Like, yeah, you want the relationship to work practically. Like, that makes sense. But if that supersedes actual love, then you have a problem, right? So if you love somebody, but he never does laundry, he never does his dishes, and you got to go behind him, it's like, and you have a problem with that to the point where you break up with that guy because of that, that's a real problem. And that's really what I see. I had a friend growing up who had a really dirty house and really dirty room. His mom had depression and she was going through a lot, and it really, how dirty their house was, really affected him and their family. But at some point they cleaned it. But before they cleaned it, he met this girl, and she was super sweet and kind, and she actually would go in his room, and his room was just so dirty and nasty. And he was a good kid. Like he had a good heart. He was a good kid. He had a good character. He was funny, but his mom had depression. Therefore, everybody was dirty, and they had depression. You know, the kids had depression. She was a single mom, and so he had this girlfriend, and she would go into his room and cuddle with him and on this dirty bed, and it was all, the sheets were bad, and I was like, oh, how does she do that? And I realized that she just loved him. She just had this love. Like, she didn't care about money. She didn't care about cleanliness. She just wanted him. She didn't care if he was dirty. She didn't care if she just wanted to be with him. And I've never experienced that since. And I've never seen a woman like that. She was just a rare oddity, and she really loved him. And they got married, and they just recently had a kid. And he was like my best friend growing up. He's a really good guy. There's nothing horrible about him, you know. He just grew up kind of dirty, right? And she the kind of love that she had for him superseded all that. But I question, how often do we see that? How often is a woman like that? How often is a woman gonna overlook the fact that you're unemployed, overlook the fact that you're dirty, overlook the fact that, you know, maybe you don't dress very well or what, and just love you for you? Like, that's just unheard of, right? So it's just an interesting phenomenon, man, talking to these girls. And it's like this weird thing. Like, you'll hear women say that. I just want a guy who, you know, can help me around the house. I want a guy who is not going to be a burden on me. And it's like, it's feminism is what it is at the core. And I've even heard traditional women say things like this, Christian women. And it's feminism at the core because, you know, women are told in feminism that, oh, if you know, care after a man, he's just a big baby, and you're his slave and all this kind of stuff. And it's this psychological hang up. But also, again, it's part of their female nature that they want a high value guy, and they want a guy for utility. Women live I've said this a million times in my videos. Women live vicariously through a man's success. So if a man is dirty and he doesn't have a nice, clean, successful house, she's not going to feel comfortable about the lifestyle that he's going to be giving her. So she's going to leave him for somebody else. And I never really thought that it would be like that until I dated a girl, or, dated a couple girls who were like, well, you don't make enough money, or you know, you're not clean enough or whatever. And I was like, not to say I'm some slob or something. Like, I do my dishes, I do my laundry, I take care of everything. And it's like, I don't have a problem with men doing that. What I'm questioning is the woman's, why does she need that so much? Why is she so adamant, and she's so hyper focused on that? Oh, he needs to pull his weight around the house, because she has this mindset that is all about equality. She has this mindset that's all about I need to keep things equal, and he needs to pull his share. And it's like, okay, but, you don't love him enough to take care of him. Like, he should want to take care of you, and you should want to take care of him. And they'll say that, but it's not really like that. It's more like, you take care of your end, and I'll take care of my end, and we need this to work for us. And it's like this weird kind of, as opposed to like, I love him, so therefore I'm going to wash his dishes, and if he doesn't wash it, that's okay, because I'm doing it because I love him, so I'm going to wash his laundry, right? And I'm not saying women have to do that. I'm sure a woman could just complain and say, hey buddy, do your laundry, like, you know what I mean? But it's just like, you question the love, you question, like, what is more important to you, this relationship being really copacetic as far as utility is concerned, or your love for the man, right? So what are you going to do? You're going to leave if he's sloppy? You're going to not love him anymore if he's got a dirty room? You know what I mean? Like, that's really at the core of what I'm saying, is like, your love should supersede his shortcomings. Now, are his shortcomings a problem? Should he fix those shortcomings? Yeah, probably. Okay, do your laundry, clean your room. You should probably do that. But, you should definitely do that. But again, like, what if he doesn't? You going to leave him? Like, what if he doesn't make enough money? You gonna leave him? Like, oh, he's just a slob, he's just a loser, he's just a little kid, so you're just gonna leave him? You don't love him enough? Like, that girl had love for my friend, and he changed. He didn't change because she was like, oh, you need to change or I'm going to leave you. He didn't change because he was afraid. He just changed naturally on his own. Like, you could even maybe argue that her love encouraged him to change. But I don't think she had that kind of, I don't think she loved him so that he would change. Like, oh, I'm showing him so much love and hoping he'll change. She just loved him, and he just changed on his own naturally, you know? And it's like, how often does that happen? Like, I mean, when women are going on dates with guys, they are sizing him up, sizing up his income, sizing up his career, sizing up his value, sizing up his worth. You know what I mean? Like, how cringy is that? And that's why I never wanted to date. That's why I never wanted to go on dates. That's why I never wanted to pay for a woman's dinner, things like try to impress her with my money. It's like, I don't want any parts of that. No parts of that. So if you're all like, oh, what are you going to bring to the relationship? Are you a clean person? Are you this? Are you that? Like, I don't want no parts of that. Now, you could argue and say on the flip side, well, I don't want no dirty woman. I don't want no uneducated woman, blah, blah, blah. Like, I look at someone's character, you know what I mean? Like, I look at someone's heart, you know, are you going to be loyal to me? Are you going to love me? Like, are you a fun person? Are you a kind person? Are you honest? Are you loyal? Like, okay, I can overlook the fact that you got a dirty bathroom, right? If you have all these other qualities and I love you, like if there's love, like I can overlook the fact that you got dirty dishes in your sink. Like, I don't care. Like, I'll go do your dishes with you. How about that? You know what I mean? Like, if I love you and I, you know, and I really care about you, I don't care that you didn't graduate college. I don't care that you don't make a lot of money. Like, sure, it sounds better. Like, yeah, you would probably want somebody who's graduated college. You probably want somebody who's clean. You like all those things. But I've dated girls that did all that, who had great careers, and there was no love. I didn't love them. It's like, yeah, on the outside, it's like, yeah, you got a lot going for you. You got a nice career, you got a nice car, you live in a nice townhouse or apartment or whatever. You know, you got a lot going for you, but I don't love you. You know, on the flip side, I've dated girls that had dirty dishes, dressed slovenly, and like, I ended up loving them. And I would overlook those things to be with them. I mean, it obviously didn't work out, or else I wouldn't be, you know, I wouldn't be talking as much crap about women. I'd probably be like, well, I probably wouldn't even be red pill or MGTOW. I mean, at least in the sense that I'd make these videos, but I probably would still hold red pill beliefs. You know, if I was married or whatever, I mean, that'll probably never change. But, you know, it's just, it's weird. It's weird how because I know this is a female thing. You know, I know this is a female thing because females are all about value. I mean, what do all the dating sites talk about? What do all the, you know, the PUA channels, they talk about raising your value because they want you to attract women. What's the name of the game? Attracting women, right? So if you attract women, you know, how do you do that? You got to have high value, right? You got to raise your value. So it's weird how women are all about value, you know? And that translates to your house. How much money do you make? All these things. And it's like, wouldn't it be great if you could just find someone who didn't judge you for those things? Like, who just wants to be with you, who just wants to have a relationship with you, who would rather just, you know, have a nice day at the park than worry about, you know, how great your relationship's going to be based on how much money you have and things like that. Like, wouldn't that be nice? You know? Or even better, someone who wants to build with you, someone who wants to help you get better, someone who supports you, whether you're successful or not. Like, how rare is that, you know? Anyway, it's an interesting phenomenon, man, and you guys have probably experienced it. You heard it, you know, women talk all the time, I don't want no bummy guy, I don't want no loser, woo, 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 he's this, he's that, and it's just like, it just gets so, like, you're basically just giving us reasons not to ever trust women. I don't trust women. I don't trust a woman. I mean, even if I had a lot of money, I wouldn't trust women. I would really not trust women if I had a lot of money. At least I know that they're honest, you know, when I'm broke. Like, if I'm broke and a woman still wants to be with me, that's real. Like, I know it. Like, but if I'm you know, really successful and really I have a lot of resources, you know, I could never trust a woman in that scenario. That's why I don't understand why celebrities ever get married or date. Like, how could you? I'd be terrified. She doesn't love you for you, man. She loves you for your value. This is female nature, you know? Anyways, guys, appreciate you listening. Jay Lee, Northwest Podcast. Peace.